This year in college football, 12 teams can make the playoffs. That should make things very interesting. It's about time they did this. I would have been happy with the Super 8, but hell, we're going to have 12 teams this year. I'm going to go ahead and look at the odds of the best teams that can make the playoffs. And there are a few surprises here. This right here is from DraftKings, FanDuel, and of course, Caesars Palace. You can see the teams over here. We'll start with Georgia. That negative 600, negative 500, negative 550, all that means is that you have to bet $600 just to win $100. Definitely not worth it. That snowflake means that's the worst odds. This flame means it's the best odds. So Georgia and Ohio State have the best odds, or as a matter of fact, they're equal across the board to make the playoffs. I think that's a no-brainer. Number 3 is Texas, the best odds, and then Oregon, the 4th team with the best odds to make the playoffs. This is just making the playoffs. Another thing to note, and what's kind of coincidental, is that these top 4 teams right here are also the best odds to win the national championship. If you look at the last 4 years, the top 4 rated teams out of these draft sites here, out of these betting sites here, one of these 4 teams has won the national championship the last 4 years when they come out right before the season starts. Of course, it's sort of, we're in May right now, but right before the season starts, when it comes out the top 4, one of these top 4 teams have won the championship. Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the 5th team, the best odds. It's Penn State. They have the best odds at 6. Penn State. Number 7, Miss. They are number 7 to make the playoffs. Number 8 is Michigan. Michigan, they lost their starting quarterback. He's in the NFL. Of course, their coach is now, he's in the NFL. It's kind of questionable about them making the playoffs. I mean, it's still possible. There's still a lot of talent on the team. That's number 8. Number 9 is the biggest surprise here. LSU. LSU has the 9th best odds to make the playoffs. I find that surprising because they just lost their great quarterback Daniels, who won the Heisman, and LSU had a below average defense. So for them to be rated at number 9, the best chances to make the playoffs, I kind of find that a little bit surprising. I'm not really sure who's going to be starting, if they're going to even be half as good as what Daniels was. Number 10 is the biggest surprise, and I don't know why they're number 10, but that would be Alabama. Alabama has the 10th best odds to make the playoffs. They also have the best odds, according to these top 10 teams. That plus 100, that means if you bet 100, you will win 100. If you look over here, that's that plus 125. If you bet 100, you'll win $125. And that's from Caesars Palace. Caesars Palace is giving the best odds. Alabama, they're going to have Milroe come back, and he was pretty good last year as the season went on. Don't forget, Alabama still has all that talent. I know they lost their coach. Everyone's writing them off. And that could be a mistake because, like I said, they have all that talent. They were a pretty good damn team last year. They did very well. That's a close game they played against Michigan. So if I was a betting man, I would have to like Alabama's chances of being one of the top 12 teams to make the playoffs. They're giving Alabama the 10th best odds to make the playoffs. I kind of find it surprising. I know Milroe's going to be a lot better. They still have all that talent on that team. A lot of 4 or 5 stars on the team. I know they lost a few players, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't see a major drop-off. Okay, so that's the top 10 teams. So 11 and 12 is just not out there yet, and there's going to be 12 teams that do eventually make the playoffs. I think Clemson has a very good chance of making the playoffs because if you remember Clemson, last year, and that wasn't a great year for them, their standards. But last year, they lost a few close games at the very end by miscues, turnovers, unfortunate things happening. Clemson could have finished the season, 11-1, 10-2 easily if those misfortunate things weren't going to happen. And the biggest game coming up that's going to start the season is Georgia and Clemson. Right now, they're making this video. I believe one of these fan sites, I think maybe it was FanDuel, one of these sites here, they have Georgia 13 and a half point favorites over Clemson. And if I was a betting man, I'd probably take Clemson in that game. If Georgia has to win by 14 points, I'm probably going to take Clemson. Of course, it's May now. We got to really wait till the season kicks off to see if everyone's still healthy. Clemson's going to be a better defensive team. And we just got to worry about their offense. And I think that's going to be a pretty close game. It's the first game of the year. And you got to figure, they're all fresh and hungry. I don't know if Georgia can win that game by 14. Hell, it might even be higher by the time it rolls around. If you're a college fan, please